Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Well, I'm surprised to see that you're still here.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You face your near her or the children, I'll kill you.
Look, you seem like a smart fellow. The woman isn't worth it. And I'll tell you, when push comes to shove, you're not going to be dealing with some little tin badge local sheriff guy. You're going to be dealing with me. Okay?
I look forward to it.
Me too. Au revoir.
Live from Stratford, Connecticut, it's the Zuki and Ruggs Show, broadcasting on our YouTube channel, the Zuki and Ruggs YouTube channel, and the newest members of the sports team at allnoiseradio.com, bringing you a wide variety of topics in the world of sports. I'm Ruggs, and my partner who will be joining me in 1 second is the ever so talented Zuki. Hey, Zuki.
What's what? What's what? Hey, we're so awesome that even our school wants us. They're like, you got to come on here. You got to come on to allnoiseradio.com, baby. Find us.
Well deserved for us.
That's right. We work hard. We deserve it. Find us. Listen to us, people. We need your support. We appreciate your support. And I want to thank our man, Joe LaChance, for putting us on.
Yes, sir.
Allnoiseradio.com.
Big time. Thank
awesome.
you, Joe.
Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for listening and subscribing. Please subscribe. You know, it's awesome. You should look forward to our show every week. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. We love sports. We bring it. We bring the passion. We bring the energy. We don't always bring the knowledge, but we're trying. We're working on it. Right, Ruggies? We're trying. And I bring dry comedy. It's not always funny, but, you know, I'm not a pro.
And with our new lunchtime spot, 12 to 1, you know, maybe your mama can pack a little Zuki and Ruggs with your lunch.
That's right, baby. Little Zuki and Ruggs on the side. I like that. Look
Listen
at you.
at work.
Creative son of a bitch, you. Look at you. That's right. My ham sandwich and some Zuki and Ruggs. And speaking of which, we got some hot lunch on the hot stove in baseball. Boy, oh boy.
Let's
Ruggies.
get right into it, man.
Ruggies, Robinson Cano. Can I get a loan, my friend, or what? And I tell you what, when he hired Jay-Z, I thought this could be really good or really bad. Turned out to be really good. My man is going to be one wealthy baseball player there in Seattle. Congratulations to Robinson Cano. Congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. They got a hell of a ball player. I know you look at the contract and you think, oh, wow, this is Seattle overpaid. Not so much. You know, this is the market for a guy like him. He's a top 5 baseball player, by far the best second baseman I've seen in the better part of a decade, over a decade. Probably the best second baseman I've seen since Roberto Alomar. Hey, you got to pay. And Seattle is committed to winning. They've got a great core. They got a great farm system people don't really know about unless you really, you know, research it, as I do and as other people do. You realize that Seattle's going in the right direction. You're in a division. You're competing with Texas, who is not afraid to spend and who also has a great farm. They're committed to winning. You're also in a division with the Angels, who they're also willing to spend, not wisely, but they do spend. And you never know with the Angels. You got to think that one of these years, the talent's going to click. And it could be this coming season. You never know. Maybe Hamilton's healthy, Pujols gets healthy, these guys all get healthy, then boom, it comes together for the Angels, as it did for the Dodgers this past season. Great move by the Seattle Mariners. Any Yankee fan, and this is where it really irks me, I got to say, Yankee fans do not do themselves any favors on the social media. Can you please show a little gratitude to the guy? I mean, he was only your best player for the last 7 years, please. Suddenly, money's not an issue for Derek Jeter. Money's not an issue for Alex Rodriguez. Money's not an issue for a Red Sox who I will get to later. Oh, by the way, money's not an issue for Sisi Sabathia. Money's not an issue for Mark Teixeira, but Robinson Cano, can't pay him. Oh, no. Not our best player. Can't pay him. But I'll go pay a Red Sox. Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, guys. Stop it. Please stop it. I'd much rather you say, thank you very much, Robinson Cano. Best wishes. Ruggies, I got to say one thing that really irks me. I don't know how you feel about it. How does Brian Cashman, these guys just get a pass on everything? This is a disaster. Ruggies, they essentially let their best player walk for a far inferior ball player in Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, what do you thought? I mean, that's how I see it that way. They basically said, okay, we're not going to adhere to your requests, Robbie Cano, who we've molded, who we built, who we've won with, and you've been our best player the last 6-7 years. Look up the numbers. Do I need to give them to you? I can give them to you. It's not even close. He's been your best player by far. And they go get a Red Sox, Ruggies.
All right, well, I'll agree and disagree with you at the same time. All right, I have no problem with someone looking out for number one, taking the money. He took the better contract. If that's what he's in it for, and he, most people are, and there's no problem whatsoever with that, then he did the right thing. If he's going to talk that he's in it for his legacy and for his place in baseball in the coming up future, I mean, I think he just went to baseball wasteland, to be honest with you. I know Seattle's up and coming. They got a long way to go. They're really a strapped team. They just put a lot of all their capital into the one player who is not a guy that can carry a team on his back. We've seen it. He's not going to take a team to a title without a lot of help. He's a supporting player. He's a very good supporting player. He might be one of the top, dozen or so players in the game, but he's not a carry a team on his back kind of player. He's not a $240 million player. Seattle just threw that money. I mean, I don't want to hear so much about Jay-Z, what a great agent he is, because, I mean, he just shot fish in a barrel. All right, he needs to keep rhyming some bars. I mean, he hasn't even been really good at doing that for quite a while. It's been a long time since he's really put up,
Agreed.
Even
Agreed.
By
the way,
to be honest with you. So I mean, he's in over his head. He had a good start with this, though. I mean, Seattle was throwing the money at him, throwing the money at Cano. This is a guy that professes to be, a big Yankee guy, and he wants to always hang out in the Bronx. I don't think he can come in the Bronx anymore. He better stay in Brooklyn, because there's not a lot of people very happy with him right now.
Well,
but back to what you said with Cashman. All right, you got two ways you can spend your money. Let's just say the $240 million. Are they better off with Ellsbury, Beltran? They also signed McCann a little earlier. They re-signed Kuroda. Are they better with that group, or are they better keeping Cano, not having Ellsbury? Whether or not they signed Kuroda, that may have happened anyway, but what's the better composite? They're not getting Beltran if they re-sign Cano. I don't think. There's just no way they can make the numbers work. It's really what you think the better composition of the team. And you're talking about, I don't believe in giving anybody 10 years. I know sometimes the market is going to push everything up, and you're going to pay what the market bears, but to have 10 years for anybody, I mean, to me, 5 years for a position player is the absolute max, and 3 years if you're a pitcher or catcher. Out of that, I mean, I'm not a GM of a baseball team, and that could be why, but I'm not giving anybody 10 years, $240 million. All the guys who've gotten it so far, it's been epic fails. I see it, especially at a team like Seattle, which is they're just trying to make a splash. I don't see it working out for them.
A couple rebuttals there. I see what you're saying. A couple rebuttals. I'll ask you this question. You said he's not a championship player. The Yankees win 85 games this past year without Robinson Cano. All the injuries they had. Their superstar Jeter wasn't there. A-Rod wasn't there. Teixeira really wasn't there. All these guys. Who was the one constant on that team? You think they win 85 games without Cano?
No, maybe they don't. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but
I'll tell you they don't. I tell you they probably lose 10 more games. I know his WAR is about like a 6-7 BS. He won them probably 10 more games, but his WAR is what his WAR is. But and another thing about the capital, the reason why this deal makes sense for Seattle is because the young core, they are not going to get paid for the next few years. A lot of their guys who are tremendous ball players they have are not due for their payday for a long time. Guys like Mike Zunino, guys like Kyle Seager, and even their young pitchers. There's a pitcher coming up, I remember the name, Taijuan Walker. They've got a bunch of guys coming up that are still basically on their they haven't even reached arbitration yet. So Seattle, I think this deal, Right now, it doesn't look like it makes sense. Oh, they gave this guy all this money. Yeah, but it's going to make sense because, as I said, these guys are not due for their big paydays. And these guys, let's be honest, they're not. I don't know if Mike Zunino is going to be a $100 million ball player. I don't know if Kyle Seager is going to be. He may be, actually. Kyle Seager, let's see. This is going to be a big year for Kyle Seager. I think he's going to really step up, and this move is going to help him. But I will say, I don't think his numbers are going to drop off all that much. I mean, they will, but right field in Seattle is not a landmine or a pet cemetery, as I've heard the term being used. That's more of left field for right-handed batters. Yes, I agree with that. If it was like, a big-time right-handed batter going there, I'd say, okay, he may have made a poor investment there. Ask Adrian Beltre. We saw he took the money, went out to Seattle, and was terrible. And then he went back to Boston in 2010. He was an MVP candidate. But just looking at the numbers here. I'm going to whip out some numbers here, Ruggies, on Cano. I'll just give it the basics. I'm not going to go into the sabermetrics and all that because most people aren't really mentally they don't have the mental capacity to comprehend that. But I'm just going to go into the basics. Robbie Cano.
Not our audience.
Yeah.
Our audience is highly intelligent.
Yeah, we are catering to a highly intelligent audience. Robbie Cano, this past season, he was 27, 107, 313, OPB 383. He slugged 516, OPS 899. Year before, 33, 94, batted 313, on base percentage 379, slugged 550, OPS 929, 28, 118, batted 302, on base 349, OPS 882. 2010. He was 29, 109. These numbers all look the same. It feels like I'm skipping years here.
Consistency is definitely
319, OPS 914. 09. It looks like a porous year, but for a second baseman, still pretty damn solid. 25, 85, 320. He batted 320. On base 352, OPS 871. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is for a second baseman, that's elite.
Well, when you're mentioned in the same breath as Rogers, Hornsby, and Ryan Sandberg, and that's who the other two guys that have put the offensive numbers as a second baseman as he has. I mean, that's rarefied air. No question about how talented the guy is. And I'm not knocking Robinson Cano and how great a player he is at all. I'm also not knocking Seattle for making the move. My question is, if you're Robinson Cano, you're going to get $170 million and stay in New York, high profile, be a man, be in the big city, or you're going out to Seattle, which could be quite a ways away from getting where they want to be. But you are the face of the franchise out there.
Yeah.
You're not really the face of the franchise in New York. People, the ticket sales haven't been there. They come out to, came out to see Rivera this year, and they're coming out to see maybe one more year of Derek Jeter.
Right.
After that, Yankee brass was a little worried that who's going to carry this team as the face of the franchise, and they didn't think Cano was going to be that guy.
I'd ask you and everybody a question. Who the hell's going to the ballpark to see Jacoby Ellsbury?
No, I mean, they don't have one right now. I mean, that's
who's going to. My point is this: it's not even so much what your stance; it's what Yankee fans' stance. That suddenly the money for Cano is too much, but it's okay to pay Ellsbury and Beltran and McCann. By the way, that Brian McCann contract is going to be an epic disaster. Oh, by the way, and I'm tired of hearing 5 for 85. No, folks, it's 6,105 because it's a player option, and he's no way in hell. Brian McCann is not going to exercise.
He'll take the option.
No way in hell.
As a catcher?
Brian McCann is not going to
get
exercise
a 6-year deal?
That option.
He'll take the option.
So please, it's 6,105, okay? Please. That's my point, is that it's mind-boggling to me that the Yankee fans are just drinking the Kool-Aid. And they're drunk on this Yankee Kool-Aid, like, we know what we're doing because we're the Yankees. No, you don't know what you're doing. Your GM's an idiot. He told us the best player he's had in the last 10 years to take a hike, and he brought in an injury-prone Red Sox, okay? And he's going to tell all you guys to cheer for this guy. Oh, here's Ellsbury. Oh, here's our guy. Yeah, here's Ellsbury, who's been hurt the last 2 out of 3 years, who plays 59% of his games, okay, who relies on his legs. I want to see how his legs are going to be at age 35. Let's see how that goes. He's an ACL. Hey, people, he's an ACL away from being done. I got news for you.
Well, Zook, don't think for one second that Cashman did not like the fact that Jay-Z and Cano came in and kind of highballed them and said, this is what we want. And they went real high right away and kind of took a firm stance. They
Well,
don't
that's-
like
that's
he
what
didn't
you're
like being
supposed to do.
he didn't. No, I agree with you. And he was able to get it from somebody, but he did not like being bullied around by a newfangled agent who's kind of wet behind the ears still, and one of his own guys that I think this kind of was maybe a little game of chicken. If he wants to go, he can go. Hal Steinbrenner said the same thing and thought maybe there'd be some more negotiation, and he kind of took it pretty quickly. I was a little surprised how quickly he took it.
Okay, okay, I understand that. Here's Ellsbury, Yankee fans. This is $21 million ball player. Let's go. 9 homers, 53 RBIs. Okay, 52 stolen bases.
Yeah, you can't compare the numbers.
Okay. Batting average, 298. On base, 355. That's your leadoff hitter. Good luck, 355. I won't go slugging because he's a leadoff guy. 2012, he injured, 74 games played. But Jose Reyes injury prone. Yeah, I got to hear from Yankee fans bash Jose Reyes. Good luck with your 7-year outfielder. Your new by the way, he's your franchise player because Derek Jeter's going to leave. A-Rod's just about done. This is your franchise player, people. Get ready. 4 home runs, 43 RBIs in 74 games played. Batted .271, .313 on base percentage from your leadoff hitter. Wonderful. 2011, okay. You better hope he has one season like that, but he probably won't. But I'll give it to him. I'll read it out. Great year. Finished second in the MVP, 119 runs scored, 105 ribeyes, 39 steals, and his on-base was about 376. Wonderful. 2010, injured, played 18 games, won't even go there. 2009, we got Ruggies, 8 homers, 94 dingers. I will give him the 70 stolen bases. Pretty damn good. But again, that's 5 years ago now. But I will give him that. His numbers aren't all bad. But his on base, if you look at it, 355, 350, the highest he ever, that's it. That's what you're paying for. And that's not a $21 million ball player.
No, I agree.
I'm
with
sorry.
You totally.
So how does anybody sit here and say, oh, well, Jacoby Ellsbury, they're great with him. Yeah, he's $21 million. Dude, you could have had Robinson Cano for a few $1 million more. And he's a far superior ball. And he was your franchise. He was your franchise guy. So basically now the franchise guy Cano, you told to take a hike, and you bring in some Red Sox who's not even all that great to be your franchise. And he's going to be your I'm sorry, Yankee fans. Your farm system sucks. Sorry, the Yankee farm is a joke. The Yankee farm system sucks. Mason Williams, I'll believe it when I see it. Gary Sanchez, I'll hold my breath. Okay? Don't want to hear about the Yankees. You have nobody in the farm that's coming. Sorry, you don't. Your draft picks, well, you keep signing guys, you ain't going to have no draft picks. So good luck with that. This is your franchise. A 31-year-old, injury-prone Red Sox who's got a 350 on-base percentage. That's a good year for him, and he's your leadoff hitter. Good luck. Can't steal first. And another thing you got to take into account, can't wait till he gets pull happy in Yankee Stadium. Can't wait. Ooh, look at that short porch and right, which is a joke, by the way. Look at that short porch and right. I think I'm gonna try to yank it down to right field because I want to get back to my 2011 form, prove that I'm worthy of this contract. That's gonna work wonderfully. But he does play a good center field. He's a great defender. He is a dynamic base runner, but I just don't understand the logic here and the notion that we're better off with Jacoby Ellsbury and a 55-year-old Carlos Beltran than we are with the guy, who was our best player for the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like selective spending now, Ruggs. It just boggles my mind. It's like, oh, yeah, like I've been saying the whole time. But it is what it is. Good luck to Robinson Cano. Good luck to Seattle. I think they're going to be a better team for it. I could see them being like an 85 if everything goes well. If they get another good player, which they're going to need to get, which may be a little more difficult now, I'll admit that, depending on, hey, listen, these guys are all rich, these owners. These teams are all rich. Not as rich as the Yankees, but these guys all have money. So they probably might need a little more help. I'm not ready to give them a World Series yet, and I'm not going to say Cano's going to be 40, 130, batting 355. I'm not going to say he's going to be all that. But I think he's going to be okay. His numbers might drop off, definitely, but
they probably will play him out in Safeco.
I can't deny it. They probably will. But if he's 20-something, 90+, playing Gold Glove second base, that's probably what they want. It's okay. And good luck to the Yankees with Ellsbury. Again, a dynamic player, but I just don't understand the logic. That's what boggles my mind. That's all I really got to say. The Mets got Curtis Granderson, which was a great deal. Which was a great deal for them.
You got to be pleased with that, I would think.
I'm not elated over the 4 years, but I understand that. You know what you realize with these contracts that the latter parts of the years you're going to get hosed on.
Yeah, you kind of got to
you
make
got
a peace with that right up front.
Yeah, you're going to get hosed on. I can live with it, I guess, but I would have much rather had Granderson at 3 years. But, the first couple years, the Mets got to make the Mets have to compete in Granderson's first 2 years. And he's not going to put up the big power numbers, obviously, that he did with the Yankees. Can't expect that. But he's going to play. First of all, the way you got to look at it, if you're a Met fan, it's a huge upgrade. It's an upgrade. They had minor leaguers out there. This is a major leaguer now. So it's a major upgrade. That's the one thing to look at. Hopefully his K rate, you're going to have to live with it. He's going to strike out a lot. Hopefully it doesn't become a big problem like when the Mets acquired Mo Vaughn and Jeremy Burnitz and those guys, or even Jason Bay. You got to hope that if he does go into a slump, he comes out of it and he's not the next Jason Bay. I like it. It's an upgrade, as I've said, and yeah, it's okay.
They had to do something too. It was for the fan base.
You nailed it, Ruggies. You nailed it. And that may have been what it just came down to. They said, "Hey, we got to do something." The Yankees got Ellsbury, Cano got all the. We got to do something, and they did something. I just hope it wasn't out of desperation. I just hope the Mets believe that he's actually good. He's still good. He can still help the team win. I hope they didn't do this just to do this, just to spend in vain. You don't want to do that because if you're rebuilding, stay the course. Don't do something knee jerk. Don't throw money away. Just if you're gonna stay the course, stay the course. Don't just do something spontaneously just to appease me. If you want to appease me, go get Robinson Cano. If you want to appease me, go get Cano, Chu, Garza. Get them all. If you want to make me happy, but of course I'm a greedy fan, so I'm never gonna be happy. As all of us are. We'll never be happy.
Well, we're going to go to break here on the Zuki and Ruggs Show. When we come back, we're going to recap a wild and crazy Week 14 in the NFL. We'll see you in a minute.
On All Noise Radio.
Your energy drink losing its pizzazz. Are you feeling less imp when you need it? Is it lasting 2 hours instead of 5? It's time to try Mutant Soda.
Mutant Soda?
Yes, Mutant Soda made from the finest ingredients like frog, snails, and puppy dog tails.
That's what my Mutant Soda's made of.
Your skin may turn green, you may even lose your hair, but this drink will give you energy like you never felt before.
The drinks I was up for 5 hours, but with Mutant Soda I was up for weeks. I haven't slept yet.
Mutant Soda, it will scare the out of you.
Our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Bob.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Back on the Zuki and Ruggs Show, and we're going to get right into it. Yesterday's action, unbelievable in the NFL Week 14. Some of the craziest games, especially at the finish.
No kidding.
That you'll see.
God.
The weather just made it even more so. That Detroit-Philadelphia game was something out of 50 years ago.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a game where you couldn't kick?
Ruggs.
Even high school games, you don't see that in. I mean,
oh my God. Ruggies, I swear to God, when I was watching the pregame shows, I was like, this is, they showed the footage from Philly, Green Bay, all over the country, Baltimore, all over the country where there was snow. And I'm like, this is going to be one of the lowest scoring, worst weeks in the NFL. It ended up being one of the greatest weeks in NFL history. Ruggs, unreal.
Super
some of these games. Even that Detroit-Philly game ended up being a tremendous football game for considering the snow, the elements. I mean, LaShawn McCoy ran for over 200-plus yards. I mean, okay,
that
Calvin.
fourth quarter was just amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah, you got Megatron looking like the abominable snowman. I mean, just unbelievable. What a game.
It really was. That's one of the games. I mean, the commute would have been a nightmare and everything. That's one of the games I actually would have loved to have been at. I would have loved to have just been at that game.
I wonder how much you saw from the stands, though. It almost seemed like you'd be better off on TV. But
TV actually might be worse.
I don't.
To be honest with you,
I got
the cameras and stuff. It might actually be worse.
I don't think I've ever seen a live game in that kind of conditions.
No, I've never been to a snow game, but I'm afraid to actually because I'm usually driving, and it's like who the hell wants to deal with that? But that was unbelievable, Ruggs, from top to bottom. I mean, where do you want to start, Ruggies? We could go with the New England game. Add the Cleveland Browns to the list, Ruggies. I think it was about a month ago where we said, after the New Orleans game,
we talked about
and we said you've been Brady'd. Well, add the Cleveland Browns to the list. Cleveland. You just got Brady. You just got Brady.
Didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I stepped on you there. I thought we were going to say it together, but
we can. Let's do it. Cleveland.
You just got Brady.
Let's see how that sounds.
But we also talked about why they're a loser franchise. The Cleveland Browns. Cover the onside kick, will you? Please.
Oh my God, unbelievable! And
that game is as over gets.
It was over, and I just had it again, Ruggs, a freaking again, just like the Denver game. I swear to you, I had I think New England has ghosts. Only the Patriots. Only the freaking Patriots get luck like this. Unbelievable. They recover the onside kick. Brady goes down the field. But I will say this. Again, the Patriots receive divine assistance. Ugh, that was one of the worst calls I've seen in a long time. Ruggies, that is a terrible call. I won't go down the conspiracy theory road, even though I'd like to. And I think many of us are. It's like, how many times can the Patriots get a lucky call at home? I will say this, all you Patriot fans that cried about the Gronk call on Monday night against Carolina, you can now zip it, okay? Please, I don't want to hear you cry again. Ever, ever, ever. Shut it. How do you make that call? I mean, I understand the onside kick. You got to recover the onside kick, but you can't call that pass interference. You changed the whole game. That was not pass interference.
It's a bad call, but, they would have won anyway. I don't know how. They would have won anyway. They were going to win that game no matter what. Things just break right for them.
Oh, you look like Phil Simms. Now you're starting to sound like Phil. Oh, Jim. Oh, Jim, look at Tom Brady. Jim, look at him. He's just Tom Brady. They're going to win this game because Tom Brady.
Dude, I spent years being anti-Tom Brady.
I know.
Anti the Patriots.
I'm starting to like him too now.
There's nothing he could do. He just does it every time.
Yeah, I know. And he's so sexy, and he knows it. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Goddamn Brady. But no, congratulations. It was a great football game. I got to give it up to the Cleveland Browns.
They played hard. They really did.
They played well. And this Josh Gordon. OMG. OMG alert on Josh Gordon. 80-yard touchdowns every week, bro.
Could somebody dig up the zombie that is Jason Campbell? This guy is playing great football.
Unbelievable.
Out of nowhere.
Unreal. He always flashed signs. He had signs in Washington. There'd be times in Washington where you watch him like, oh wow, here he comes, and then he just revert.
Right.
He'd get back into bad habits again. Even in Oakland a couple of years ago, when he went to Oakland, he had a
couple.
He had a stretch in Oakland where he was playing well, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. Maybe Jason Campbell needed to change his scenery. Yada yada, and all of a sudden, right back to
Jason Campbell came back.
And now he's doing it again. So good for him. And it was a great football game, thoroughly entertaining football game. And Tom Brady, that's why you got to bury him, man. You got to bury Brady. If the Patriots are still in the game and he's got the ball, we've seen it time and time again. He's gonna beat you. So impressive win. Impressive win.
Gronk is out again. I mean, this guy just doesn't stay on the field for this. For a big beast like he is, and he's. I mean, this is a bad one, their ACL, MCL combo. Next year, he's probably not going to be ready at the beginning of the year.
We'll see.
It's possible, but
we'll see. My thing, again, we went through it about a month ago again on one of our casts. These ACLs are a problem. Everybody wants to talk about head injuries. All right, where are all these people now about ACLs or non-contact? Go tweet Rob Gronkowski that.
Yeah, that was a contact injury all
right.
Why
don't you tweet Tyrann Mathieu that? Oh, ACLs are non-contact. Oh, really? Okay, buddy. Okay. So they're not a problem, though. Yeah, that's okay. We'll have these guys, just diving at people's legs. That's great. That's wonderful. I don't know. But what do you expect from Goodell? He's a jerk in a suit who never played football. So, of course, he's going to say, oh, yeah, let's just have these guys, hit at the legs. Hit at the legs. Oh, yeah, good call, Raj. Yeah, good one. Yeah, tell these guys tell a guy who runs a 4.3 40 who uses his body as a torpedo all right, which is the equivalent of getting hit by a freaking car. Tell them, yeah, let me dive at your legs. Let me dive at your kneecap, Raj. Yeah, good call. Yeah, oh, no, don't hit a guy in the torso. Don't aim high where a guy's got a 65-inch chest, and out of the 275 pounds, 200 of it is up in his torso. No, don't hit him there.
That's a good point.
Oh, yeah, don't hit him there. Let's hit him in the kneecap. Oh, yeah, wonderful. Aim for the legs, guys. Oh, yeah, good call, Raj. And all these, guys who want to jump on the concussion bandwagon. Yeah, where you at? Tweet Gronkowski about, hey, at least you didn't get a concussion. Guess what? You can come back in a week from a concussion. Ask Wes Welker. Welker will be back. That's okay. Maybe he might miss a Thursday game because it's a short week.
Yeah, I would think so.
And it's his second concussion. Okay. And listen, I'm not trying to minimize head injuries. No way in any shape or form. No way do I want to see a guy. I understand concussions are bad. You're talking about the brain, okay? The brain getting rattled. I understand that. But you know what? It's week after week now. We're losing star players. The injury report, there's like 6 Hall of Famers on there with torn ACLs. Is that good for the league? Give me a break. It's a joke, man. So it's a tough injury for the Patriots, tough blow for them. I mean, it's no coincidence at all that the Patriots were playing great when Gronk was back. And now let's see if they can keep it up. But it's a big blow to the Patriots.
What do you think about Minnesota and Baltimore? You had a game that was 12-7 going into into the fourth quarter. Ends up
Ruggs. That's
29-26.
One of the greatest games I've ever seen. And Ruggs, you want to know something? Like I'll tell you a quick inside story, personal story. I got family in Baltimore, and I was saying to them I wanted to go and see a Ravens game. And that's one of the games I wanted to go to.
You probably thought it was a dud.
I did. And God, I wish I freaking went now. But anyway, to whoever went, great. I mean, thoroughly entertaining. You even see the shot after Marlon Brown catches the game-winning touchdown, which was a great catch, by the way.
It was.
And Joe Flacco, you know what? That contract, he justified it yesterday.
57 minutes, he played like
he looked like Brady.
3 minutes, he played like Joe Montana. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. And he does it a lot. I got to give it to Flacco. He really is. He's like a comeback kid, so to speak. And great job of the Ravens and great job of the Vikings. I mean, they tried to spoil him. You know, Toby Gayhart came in there for an injured Adrian Peterson. He had that long touchdown, and then Kobe Jones does it again, man. Takes it to the house. And then, unbelievable, a rookie who, Minnesota gets the ball back, a rookie who was, highly touted rookie, Cordarrelle Patterson there, catches a screen. At first, Ruggies, what do you think? It looked like a harmless screen pass to me at first.
Oh, yeah.
It's a harmless.
Looked like he was going to gain about 5 yards.
Yeah, it's a harmless screen pass, and all of a sudden, he's gone, takes to the house, 79 yards. And again, you're thinking, okay, that's a death blow to the Ravens.
Well, the Vikings have been talking all year. They've got to get this guy the ball. They got to get the ball into his hands, and this is why he can be electric when he gets the ball.
You see how much better they play when they actually have a real quarterback? And they actually play pretty well when they have a real quarterback out there.
Castle's been good when he's been in there this year. I've been surprised.
And they just keep going back to this ponder. I guess they're reluctant to admit that he's a bust, which, sorry, he is. Just a great football game. And you go to their rival, their division rival in Pittsburgh. Oh, my God, what a game. Antonio Brown on the last play. Oh,
wow.
I know my Steeler fan buddies were, they must have been upset.
Zook, that was going to be a touchdown. The only thing missing was the band coming out on the field. It was a Cal Stanford play all over again. Laterals all over the field. A couple of people were saying maybe that Roethlisberger one was for it. I don't think it was.
No.
I think that's absolutely a touchdown. But he doesn't need to step out of bounds. He had about a 1.5 2-yard separation from the DB on Miami, and he was looking at him, like you said before when we were off air. He was looking over to the side trying to make sure that he could get by him, and his toe comes down on the baseline. I know the field had a lot of snow on it. Maybe it was a little tough to differentiate the sideline from the snow. I don't know.
No,
that is the all-time great play in the annals, and it gets taken away because of a toe.
Can't kill him. The guy's having a tremendous year. He's in my opinion, their MVP by far. No one probably feels worse than Antonio Brown. I feel terrible for him. That would have been a great moment for the Steelers. But Ruggs, how ironic is it that a week after Mike Tomlin got in huge trouble for stepping stepping onto the field to play,
exactly,
that Antonio Brown steps out of bounds.
I
mean, that's just karma. Here comes karma again, presenting itself to us. just a tough blow. But you know what? Shouldn't get lost in the fact that it was a great football game. Miami Dolphins went in there. I thought they had no chance in hell to win that game.
Pittsburgh's got to stop the run. I mean, that's just, they had a horrible day trying to stop the run.
And I mean, they had a tough. I mean, they did a good job on shutting down Mike Wallace, but Charles Clay, poor tackling. And they did have the defensive touchdown. Polamalu had a great, touchdown there, which I thought was going to propel Pittsburgh to the win. I really thought, okay, here we, Pittsburgh. That was a big, it's a big time turnover, big time score. I said, okay, Pittsburgh's ready to take off here and take this control of this football game and get themselves a huge win here. And man, they didn't, unfortunately. But as a fan, I was thoroughly entertained. It was a great football game. Right. And like you said, I didn't even think about that. That could have been a play they'd be showing for the next 30, 40 years.
In the home of the Immaculate Reception. Could have been another one, part 2.
And Antonio Brown blew it. Eek, poor Antonio. On to other games. I mean, we'll just touch on a couple disappointing games. The Seattle-San Fran game, a lot of hype, not a lot of action. San Fran got a big-time win. Congratulations to them. That was they needed that win. Obviously, they needed it badly to get the 9-4 and keep themselves in the wild card lead there. And they beat, and it's good for pride, too. They beat Seattle, who we all know they don't like, and obviously the feeling is mutual between those two. They don't like each other. What do you think away from that game, Ruggs? Do you think, I'll ask you this, Ruggs, do you think San Francisco, and it could happen, it may very well happen as the playoffs are taking shape here and as we're starting to see where these guys are going to end up, do you think San Fran's got what it takes to go into Seattle and beat them?
No, I don't think they'd win that game. I don't want to say they don't have what it takes because they're a defensive team. If they play their A game on defense, they can keep it low scoring enough where if Seattle makes a couple mistakes, gets a little sloppy with the ball, Lynch puts it on the carpet, or Russell Wilson gets a little inaccurate with some of his throws, sure, anything can happen. But I don't think the way that I've seen them play this year that San Fran's got, I don't trust Kaepernick enough to go up into that environment and win that game. They don't trust him enough as a coaching staff. Their offense is run very, very vanilla, predicated mainly on Frank Gore, who I think won them that game yesterday. He busted off a couple big runs, especially the one that set them up for their last field goal. That's not the kind of offense that I think it's going to take to score enough points to beat Seattle. That defense is just good. And they really had, they played pretty well against Kaepernick even yesterday. It was kind of what I expected, a low-scoring, really hard-hitting defensive affair. Very easily could have been a game that Seattle won. I don't think it was as impressive of a win for San Fran. They just needed to get the win. They didn't care about style points.
Yeah.
And I think the last 2 games that have been in Seattle, Seattle's pretty much run roughshod over them. I think they can make it a more competitive game than the last 2, but I would take Seattle 9 times out of 10 in Seattle in the playoffs.
I agree. Especially, I just don't like the way San Fran looked at all. They just looked like they were more afraid to lose than they were gung-ho to win. It's like they were playing like, okay, we can't lose this game. They didn't look aggressive at all. They looked very passive. The defense was tremendous, as it has been pretty much all season. Yeah, they didn't impress me at all. Again, give credit to Seattle's defense. They're very good as well. They did a hell of a job, but they just didn't look aggressive. I don't think San Fran's got any swagger whatsoever on offense. They have no confidence on offense, and I don't think they're going to be able to beat Seattle. I agree with you. I think they have a good football team, but I'm with you. I don't think they go into Seattle and beat Seattle. And another game we're going to reiterate on right now, the Sunday night game, which had a lot of hype, had a lot of hoopla, and I was actually very excited about, but unfortunately, like with many situations in life, you get disappointed, and what a disappointment. The New Orleans Saints just completely dominated the Carolina Panthers for the better part of 3 quarters, which pretty much equates to 75% of the game for all of us mathematicians. Yeah, just not a very impressive outing from Carolina. The first drive looked good. Carolina looked good. I said, okay, here we go. Did nothing on offense. Very vanilla, very bland on offense. Cam Newton didn't run. Just had no imagination on offense. It just looks like they were intimidated. It really looks like the Panthers were like, okay, this is our statement game. Are we ready to take that next step? And they said, it was almost like a baby going up a set of stairs. It's like, okay, baby, go up the steps, and the baby, they get up to the step and they're like, they lift their leg and they're like, you know what? I'd rather have daddy bring me up the stairs, They just didn't want to take that step. And that's what it looked like the whole night, pretty much. And I think the big turning point of the game is after the turnover, Carolina kicking the field goal there to make it 6-0.
Definitely.
I think if Carolina punches that in, makes it 10-0, maybe Carolina says, we're up 10-0. Let's go, okay. But then when you get stopped and you kick a field goal, that's kind of deflating.
Cannot beat them with field goals.
Yeah, and I think that's deflating, and they never recovered from that. And and Drew Brees at home is just borderline unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's borderline unstoppable.
They do not lose primetime games.
No.
At home.
No.
On the road, different story.
Right.
Drew Brees at
as
the
we
Superdome.
saw last Monday in Seattle.
Exactly.
I mean, they look like a totally opposite. It looked like a totally different team. They didn't even look like the same team. Graham looked banged up in Seattle. Brees looked uncomfortable in Seattle. From top to bottom, the Saints looked like they didn't even want to be there. And they go home. They're like, okay. They're like rejuvenated.
And all of a sudden, they have a running game.
Yeah.
Marcus Colston plays.
Yeah, he's back.
He's tremendous when he's at home.
Right.
It is unbelievable. The other takeaway I had from the game, the Panthers could not block Cameron Jordan.
No. Yes.
He just killed them up the middle. Tonight you got Dallas and Chicago. It's a very important game for both teams. You got two teams that, let's face it, they're not going to the Super Bowl, but either one of these teams can still win their division and get into the playoffs and have a home game and make San Fran or Carolina come to them, which seems kind of ridiculous. Just like we were talking about last week with Kansas City is going to have to go to, Indianapolis. Really? They're terrible.
Right.
I mean, Cincinnati, I'll give them a break. They're going to host a wild card game and the first weekend, and they're playing better. They deserve it.
And I will say another thing about that game. I didn't even touch. I'm going to touch on it real quickly. A lot of people don't realize how big of a victory that was for the Patriots. If the Patriots had lost that game, the Bengals are your number 2 seed right now.
Right. It would have gotten very
People
dicey
don't
for
even
them.
realize that the Bengals are your number 2 seed right now.
The tiebreaker win
with the
over them,
tiebreaker win over New England.
Good call.
So that
Zuki, right.
I didn't even I just didn't touch on that earlier, but I just wanted to. So that even tells you how big of a victory that was.
When
for
you're
the
as banged up
Patriots.
as New England, you have to have that bye.
Everybody needs
because
it.
they need to play one
Right.
less game.
Yes.
And try to figure out how to
Just
get
like
through.
Denver needs it.
with one less game.
That's another team who's Denver definitely needs it. A lot of teams need that week. I know historically the team who gets the bye doesn't win the Super Bowl. I get that, but you know what? Looking at somebody, let me tell you, Peyton Manning needs a week to. Peyton Manning needs a week. Wes Welker needs a week. Moreno needs a week. You know what I'm saying? These guys need a week. Julius Thomas needs a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that the bye week again. It's vital in my opinion for teams. This year, usually in years past, we look at it like, oh, the bye week's coming at a wrong time. I think a lot of people, including myself and a lot of experts said that about Green Bay, the year the Giants won the Super Bowl. We're like, oh, man, this bye week's coming at a horrible time for Green Bay. They're rolling here. They can't lose. They hit the bye, come back from the bye week, dud. They lay an egg.
Yep.
And that was no coincidence. But I think a lot of these teams, as we're saying, you look at teams that have got some injuries, they need a blow.
I think the teams that thrive on defense, like Seattle, I think they're in better shape to deal with coming off of an off week than a team like the Packers that year, which was such a rhythm offense,
Right.
so highly tuned. They kind of were in sync and on target, and then they hit that week off. And like you said, the Giants, who had been rolling and the hot team going in, had played the week before, got a win under their belt. Killed my Falcons, I don't really want to get into that, but they did. They beat them down and got a lot of momentum going, and they went up to Green Bay and took care of business. Well, we're going to go to break here on All Noise Radio on the Zuki and Ruggs Show, and when we come back, we're going to break down some games for this upcoming Week 15 and give you our predictions, and we'll see you after this break on All Noise Radio.
Do you lack confidence and assertiveness?
Can you open my milk, Mommy?
Do people have a difficult time determining your gender? Do you take constant verbal abuse from strangers?
They're just a bunch of pansies.
Well, you're a man. Time to start acting like one. Try our brand new product, Man in a Can. This barely legal concoction comes in several invigorating flavors, such as aftershave, motor oil, and beer.
It stings the nostrils in a good way.
This stuff will make you a damn sexual tyrannosaurus.
Time to man up. Get Man in a Can today.
All Noise Radio.
Powered by Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Are you the police?
No, ma'am. We're musicians.
All noise, all the time.
All right, guys, we're back here on the Zuki and Ruggs Show on All Noise Radio, Zuki and Ruggs Show on the YouTube channel, and also we're on SoundCloud, so, give us a listen.
I forgot to mention that before. Thank you, Zook.
Yeah, you see, I got you covered, Ruggs. You got to do your job. I'm just kidding.
That's right. No, you're
I'm just kidding.
Definitely negligent of me. I apologize. I will
I did
not let it happen again.
I did it without Ruggs knowing, actually. I did it in secret, 3 o'clock in the morning last night. But anyway, I just want to make you look bad, Ruggs, because you always make me look bad with your, sports intellect. I'm insecure. It's a defense mechanism. Anyhow, we're back. I digress. We're going to get into the NFL. We're going to pick 5 of the best matchups of the week and break them down for you. Ruggs, I'm going to get started right here, right now. We're not going to waste any more of the people's time or patience here. San Diego coming off a big win, in which they eliminated the New York Football Giants from playoff contention. San Diego's 6-7, traveling to Denver, who's 11-2. Denver coming off an impressive win over Tennessee. Again, it was very reminiscent of the Redskin game. It looked like Tennessee was going to put a little scare in Denver there. We're up 21-10, and Peyton Manning said, "Adios, amigo." He said he put her into third gear and let her rip. That's for sure. So they're 11-2 Denver. Looking at that number 1 seed right now. The spread, the line is 10.5. We already kind of touched on the Welker concussion. In my opinion, we don't know yet, but in my opinion, I don't think he's going to play. He could play, but with a short week, second concussion in about 4 weeks, to me, not looking good for Welker. You got to like Denver here. They had a big performance, after in cold weather. Peyton Manning kind of answered the skeptics there. He didn't play well in the cold in New England. Came out there yesterday in 13-degree temperatures and really laid it out on Tennessee there. What do you think, Ruggies? How do you see this game playing out?
I think Denver's going to win the game. I think the way to beat Denver in this situation would be running the football. I don't think San Diego runs the football well enough to really compete in this game. And another thing is, this is a Thursday night game. When you're dealing with the Thursday night game, unless it's a mismatch, you always go with the home team when you're picking games. It's just about been perfect this year going with that scenario. A couple times I tried it in close games, go with the road team. I lost every time, like Washington, Minnesota, and a couple other examples of that. Yep. Unless it's a bad mismatch where you got a clear favorite, you go with the home team, because the short preparation week when you're doing it on the road makes it almost impossible to win a game, especially when you're an underdog going in like San Diego is. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Denver for that reason, along with the fact San Diego doesn't run the ball well enough to exploit Denver's weakness against the run. Peyton Manning still is Peyton Manning, even though the cold weather. I mean, he looked fine yesterday in the cold weather, passing up against Tennessee, who's got,
pretty good pass defense.
One of the best pass defenses in the league. And
Mm-hmm.
San Diego is not anywhere close to
No.
that good against the pass. San Diego could keep it. It's a divisional rival. I could see San Diego keeping it close for 3 quarters. Denver pulls away. I think there's so many weapons on Denver. I know Wes Welker's an important cog in the machine, but he still has plenty. He's got an embarrassment of riches there with as far as targets to throw to. I think Manning will have another big night, and it'll be business as usual in the end. Denver will win.
Yeah, I like Denver as well. I actually think San Diego is going to give them a fight. 10.5. In a normal game, 10.5 is a blowout. But if you lose to Denver by 10, by 10 or 11, you're actually hanging in there. But
exactly.
Don't tell Mike McCoy that. He might get a little ornery with you. Ryan Matthews actually has been running the ball pretty well as of late. Danny Woodhead's dynamic coming out of the backfield. I know we said this a few weeks ago when they played. I know I always say this when a team plays Denver. The key to success, we all know it. We can actually probably say it together. Keep Peyton Manning on the sideline, and you do that with running the ball, getting first downs, sustaining drives, and let him get cold on the bench. Okay, let him sit there with the hands in his pocket there, and his in his fanny pack pocket over there. You see him with the hoodie over his head and covering his ears. Let him sit there, shivering. That's how you beat him. Then when he trots on the field, he's like, "Damn, I've been on that bench for a long time." That's how you do it. And you got to put up touchdowns. I know San Diego has a great field goal kicker with Nick Novak having a tremendous year. You know what? Tell Nick Novak, we need you for extra points, okay? You got to put the ball in the end zone against Denver. I think San Diego, again, they'll give them a fight. I won't say they're going to win, especially in Denver. No way. San Diego just doesn't score enough touchdowns. I like what I saw from Keenan Allen yesterday. I like what I'm seeing from Ryan Matthews. Woodhead looks like he got involved in the action again. So I think it's going to be a good football game, but I think Denver's going to get to 12-2 here and look to just put a stranglehold in that number 1 seed.
Yeah, Zuki, you mentioned kickers. We forgot to touch on Prater hitting a
yes.
64-yard field goal yesterday, unbelievably.
Good call.
I don't know if
Ruggies.
you have to put a Denver handicap in there. Kind of
asterisk.
gives you about a 5-yard cushion. I mean, he wasn't Dempsey kicking it in New Orleans in the mud. But,
right. Yeah, no, congratulations to
but
Prater.
still, I mean, give the guy
64.
the nod. 64-yard field goal. Unbelievable.
Unreal. Congratulations to Prater. Yeah, I always knew what happened in Denver. And actually, he was one of the guys I did say a couple years. I think a lot of people did who knew anything about, who had any idea about kicking. I think we all pretty much knew if you could place a bet on any kicker in any region of the country where the record was going to happen, it'd be Matt Prater in Denver, because Prater's hit a lot of long field goals. The guy's a great kicker anyway.
Yeah, he does it on the road too.
Yeah,
but,
he's a great kicker anyway, and then especially in Denver. I mean, because Elam did it too, I think, about like 15 years ago or so.
Yeah, he had over 60. And
60. I think it was 63. I think he was one of the guys that tied. Didn't he? Did he hit a 63-yarder?
A 63-yarder, and I believe
he did. Matt Bryant did it when he was with Tampa.
Right.
I'm just going off memory here. I remember Bryant doing it with Tampa.
And Janikowski had one.
Janikowski did it. I think it was an opening night. I think it was wasn't like a Monday night game against San Diego or Denver. Yeah. I don't know. It might have been in Denver.
It was in Denver.
I think he was in Denver. Yes. So yeah, those were the guys there in Dempsey. We're gurus, bro. So yeah, congratulations to Matt Prater. Good job on your part, Rug. All right, we'll get to another game here real quick. Got to talk about this game, which has suddenly turned into a huge game. The 10-3 New England Patriots, who, thanks to Zebras, are the number 2 seed, and they're heading out to Miami to face the now 7-6 Miami Dolphins, who, because Antonio Brown is not a good tap dancer, they're 7-6 and they're in the wild card. They're not. They're behind Baltimore because obviously the tiebreaker. Baltimore beat them head to head, so they're tied essentially, but one game back. What do you think, Ruggies? New England's favored by 2 right now. I think it's gonna be a very competitive game. I could see Miami. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Miami wins this football game. They always tend to give Brady a hard time down there. Historically, they always give Brady a tough time in Miami. They always do. Not to say that Brady won't win this game, but wouldn't shock me at all if they win this football game. I'm still going to lead towards New England, but let's see. The big determining factor, in my opinion, is going to be the Gronkowski injury. How much is he going to miss Gronkowski, which we know is going to be a lot. He's really going to miss him. Will that affect the outcome of the game? And Miami the last few years cannot stop tight ends, as we all know. And so they've got to be breathing a sigh of relief, like, oh, God, we don't have to deal with Gronkowski. That could be an advantage for Miami as well. How do you see these things shaking out? Myself, personally, I'm going to go in New England, basically just because, on the heels of what they did yesterday and they're the New England Patriots.
I think it'll be a very competitive game. I think Miami has a real shot to win this. Tannehill's playing pretty well right now. He really is. The defense, they get after the passer. You got to get pressure up the middle against Brady. Miami tends to do their best work from the ends, which, Brady has used in the past, been able to step up and get rid of the ball very effectively and really, riddle teams that have done that to him and just pick them apart. I think Miami's been running the ball. Lamar Miller's looked real good the last couple of weeks. Looked great yesterday. I mean, Pittsburgh couldn't, stop the run at all. Miami looked great running the football. They have to be able to run the football in this game. They got to keep Brady on the sidelines. I think the loss of Gronk will hurt. I still think until they do it in a big spot, Miami always seems to lose these games to New England. They come up, you're just about ready to jump totally on the bandwagon of Miami. I'd like to see him pull it off, but I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to lean in the direction of Tom Brady and the pedigree of New England, Belichick and company, being able to just figure out a way to get through another one. Special teams could have a huge impact on this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody break a long one for a touchdown and maybe swing momentum one way or the other. You got to like Gus, the way Gostkowski is kicking the ball. He has been clutch for the Patriots.
He's been tremendous all year.
Really, really big kicks, and I think that'll factor in too.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right. On to another game, Ruggies, I like here. The Green Bay Packers coming off a huge victory against the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, which saved their season. I mean, the playoffs still look bleak, no doubt about it. But we got to play the hypothetical game here. If Aaron Rodgers sucks it up and suits up and gets on that football field, they go to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys, who are playing tonight. We don't know yet. We don't know the final result of their game. They're either going to be 8-5 or 7-6. They're going to Dallas. They win that game. They get to 7-6-1. Now, forget the wild card. they're right back in the division.
Yeah, I think that's the best way for them to
I
get
think
into
that's
the playoffs.
the only way.
Yeah, the wild card is too tough
because
right now.
and they don't even have the tiebreaker over San Francisco because San Francisco beat them.
Exactly.
So right there, they're out of it. So I think the only way they're getting in is winning that NFC North. So what do you think, Roy? If Rodgers takes that field against that porous Dallas secondary, that could be a huge game. I'm going with Green Bay. I really think if Rodgers takes that field, I think that could change everything, and that could change the NFC North, and that would be something else.
Especially with your buddy Santa Schwartz there giving game one right after another away. I mean, Detroit is just giving that division away.
Yes, they have.
Chicago.
I feel bad for Chicago. They've got a legitimate excuse, as we know.
I agree, but they're still very much alive.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And Green Bay, though, if they go in there and win that rematch game in Chicago in 2 weeks,
boy, if Rodgers is on the field for that one too,
and they win this game, I mean, I don't feel confident that Detroit's going to win out in that spot.
I have zero confidence. I think anyone who's listened to us knows how I feel about Jim Schwartz. I mean, I have zero confidence in a Jim Schwartz-led team.
I mean, he's given away the division.
He has. Yeah, like you said,
Santa Schwartz. I love it.
Santa Schwartz. Good one.
Only because I don't know if he's going to be back, and we have to pick now. I'm going to take Dallas because I know unless something happens tonight to Romo and Des Bryant and company, I know they're going to be there.
Right.
So I will take them at home in this spot. Otherwise, like you said, if I knew for sure that you'd have Aaron Rodgers in, that he would be adjusted to having the layoff that he had, and he'd be able to take the hit. First time he hits the ground, he's not going to be right back out of the game. I'd take Green Bay because I would have taken them if you had told me, 5-6 weeks ago, you got to pick this game ahead of time, look down the schedule, I'd say Green Bay is going to win that game because Dallas's defense at the time especially, it really hasn't much changed since, but their defense was really in disarray then, and I figured Aaron Rodgers would just pick them apart. Different now with Flynn's in there. I still can't go behind Matt Flynn though long term to win games. So I'm going to take Dallas. Not feeling great about the pick, but I'll take the Cowboys in this one just because I don't like I said before, I don't know for sure it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And I think we're going to cover these two late games, the two final games on the schedule for Week 15 of the NFL season. I really like this game. I know record-wise Pittsburgh has knocked himself, Antonio Brown's sidestep there, ended their season seemingly. But I still think Pittsburgh hosting the 9-4 Cincinnati Bengals here, Pittsburgh's looking to play spoiler, and they're going to be. I'm sure they're upset. I'm sure they're dejected, but you know what? They're going to say, okay, well, we still got a division game. They don't like the Bengals. They really don't like the Bengals at all. I'm sure the Bengals don't like them. This could be a tremendous football game. I still think it's going to be a good game. I think Pittsburgh's going to play like they're going to play hard, looking to play spoiler, looking to beat these guys, just to beat them. Just to beat them up, like vent their frustration out on the Cincinnati Bengals. I like Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this football game. It's weird. Anytime Pittsburgh has seasons like this, which they've had mediocre seasons, sprinkled in between AFC titles and Super Bowls. They've had mediocre seasons, and oftentimes when you think they're due to lay an egg, the Steelers stink, they're not a playoff team, they're just gonna, they're done. They win a game they're not supposed to win. I think Cincinnati's gonna go out there feeling good. Oh, we're 9-4. All right, let's go out there and we'll beat Pittsburgh. We'll take care of Big Brother. And I think Big Brother's going to say, you know what? I think Big Brother's got one more shot on Little Brother, and remind them that they're still the monsters of the AFC North, even though they're not. But I think they're going to play hard. I think they're going to win. I just like what I'm seeing from their offense. The Bengal defense really don't like what I saw. Andrew Luck really, if it wasn't for the Colt defense being a disgrace, that could have been a competitive football game. Andrew Luck looked tremendous yesterday, and Andrew Luck hasn't looked tremendous in the better part of 6 weeks. I could see Roethlisberger, who's clicking right now, looking pretty good and really putting some points on the board against Cincinnati.
That iffy call at the goal line really helped the Bengals, too, with Ben Jarvis Green Ellis being down at the half-yard line.
I will
and
say,
getting
I got Ben Jarvis Green Ellis on my fantasy
so
team.
it helped you out there.
I was elated.
It was a close call, but you can't overturn it when
No,
you call it
he was
the
down.
other way.
And Jeff Tripp, was it Triplet? I don't know who the official was.
It was Triplet.
It was Triplet, right?
They're at it again, his crew.
Oh, yeah, aren't they? Yeah, and he's under there for so long, and I'm like, and I knew they were going to give him a touchdown. When he was under there for that long, I said, this son of a gun's going to come out here and rule it a touchdown, and it wasn't. So you're right. That one call really did change the game because they made it 14-0 when it should have been 7-0. The Colts getting the ball there at their own 1. You're right about that.
I'm going to take Cincinnati. I just can't get behind that defense. They look so bad against Miami. They had to win that game. They should have won that game. They made the big play with Palomalu, but then they couldn't tackle. 4 missed tackles on a touchdown by Miami to go ahead. They had Clay wrapped up and then let him go down the sideline for another touchdown. It just looked terrible. I know they're going to have a week to get ready. They're going to get pumped up. They're probably going to correct a lot of the mistakes they made. But I'm still going to take – this is a statement game. I'll put it this way for Cincinnati. This is the kind of game that they got to go in there and win. If they want to be the new kings of the division, you got to go and win this game.
In Pittsburgh, right.
In Pittsburgh. And I do think Pittsburgh still is alive in the wild card hunt because Baltimore's got a tough game this week. Pittsburgh got the tiebreaker over the Jets, who's another team that's right in there with them. I don't trust any of the people coming up from behind, the Titans, all those teams. To me, they're pretty well done. There's an opening for Pittsburgh. They have to win out, so they'd have to start with tonight. There's a glimmer of hope. They split with Baltimore.
They need help, obviously. They need Miami to lose. They got to cheer for New England this
right.
They need
exactly.
They need New England, and they need
and Miami very well might lose that game.
Of course.
Give it back to them. So there's there's some shots for them to still get in.
You're right.
So I think they're going to be fired up about that. But Cincinnati, like you said, they're looking to maybe get a bye if they can keep winning. And New England slips up. There's an opportunity for them there, and they just have to win one of these games. Dalton has to go out there and show that he's for real and that this team is a Super Bowl contender. I'm going to pick them this time because I really hated what I saw from Pittsburgh's defense. Roethlisberger's tough, though. He'll battle. He'll fight. It'll be a great ball game, I think, either way. Unless Cincy just doesn't get off the bus and just doesn't show up, though, I think they'll be right there to the end, and I'm going to take them in a close one.
All right, Ruggs, and the last game we'll be getting into here, the Monday night game, which should be an epic battle, but dual 7-6 teams here. The Baltimore Ravens travel out to Detroit to face the 7-6 Lions, led by their, capable coach of Jim Schwartz there. But should be a great game, obviously. Baltimore on the heels of their epic victory against Minnesota, which we spoke of earlier, and Detroit coming off yet another disappointing loss, which seems to be the norm. The game's in Detroit Monday night. Both teams need it. I like Detroit. I think Detroit will take this one. I know I'm not a big Detroit guy, but I just think because they're home, they're very dynamic at home. I think Baltimore's going to have trouble covering Calvin Johnson and those guys at home. I think Reggie Bush will be okay by that game time. He didn't play too much yesterday. I think his calf will be okay by next week. Despite all that, I just like what I'm seeing from Joique Bell as well. I think Detroit will get it going there. Defensively, they're playing okay. I think the snow may have affected them yesterday, especially trying to stop McCoy. Snow's tough. It's tough to gauge a defense in the snow. I like Detroit to win the football game and get to 8-6, and only because the game's at home.
Yeah, I agree. I reluctantly picked Detroit. I don't feel great about it, but Baltimore has not been great on the road this year. In the past, Flacco and company in the playoffs have been pretty good on the road. I think they could even, make a little noise this year if they get into the playoffs as a wild card.
Oh, yeah.
With obviously everything having to be on the road once you're in as a wild card. But I haven't seen it during the regular season. I don't want to pick it here. I think the pass rush of Detroit could cause a lot of problems for that O-line and for Flacco. They're not running the ball effectively enough. Pierce and Rice have been pretty bad, let's face it.
I think they're averaging about 2.5 yards a carry or something.
I mean, if you're going to tell me that Detroit's running game is better than Baltimore's, that's really not saying much because Detroit is normally known as a team that just throws it all over the yard. Right. And I think even though Baltimore's a solid defense, Ladarius Webb and company, good cover corners, Jimmy Smith, they're good cover corners, but I think eventually anybody covering Calvin Johnson you just can't do it for a whole game, especially indoors with no weather to be a factor. Stafford, unless he's really off, I think can have a real big game. I don't like the way Baltimore's been getting after the quarterback either. I think they let Castle have way too much time yesterday, and he really late in the game riddled them with some big plays and almost beat them. Probably should have. And this one, I'm going to take Detroit in. I don't feel great about it, and it wouldn't shock me if they laid an egg and Baltimore went in there and won the game. But
yeah, I can actually see Torrey Smith having a big catch here, a big touchdown catch in a dome. Detroit's secondary is known for that.
And Jacoby Jones in special teams could be a
he's
big
on
factor.
Fire right now. So, yeah, they're notorious for giving up big plays, Detroit secondary. So I see what you're saying there.
Love Tucker indoors kicking. I mean, there's a lot of things to
I think it's going to be a tremendous football game.
Yeah, I do too.
It's going to be a tremendous
Monday night
one.
game.
It is. We do have a good one next Monday night. No doubt about that. And, lesson of the week, Ruggs. Quick lesson of the week. If anything goes bad, blame A-Rod.
Just blame A-Rod.
Just blame A-Rod. That's what Yankee fans do.
That's my motto. I like it.
Yeah, blame him. Well, we don't have Cano because of A-Rod's contract. Yeah, we're not going to give out another 10-year deal because of A-Rod. Everything's A-Rod's. Poor A-Rod. Even when he tries to stay, and everybody says, "Oh, be quiet, don't say anything, A-Rod." Well, the guy's not saying nothing. He's sitting home, and it's his fault. You guys can't sign Cano.
You're one of the very few A-Rod apologists. I will give you that.
Me and Francesa. All right, well, that'll do it for us on All Noise Radio. I want to thank everyone for listening. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please continue to support. And listen to us on All Noise Radio, allnoiseradio.com. We'll keep you posted on our Facebook page.
As to our new time slot, which
that's right.
We should be finalizing soon. So you'll have it on allnoise.com.
Yep.
Allnoiseradio.com.
Allnoiseradio.com, yeah. Yeah, that was a great show, Ruggies. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you, as eloquent as ever, my friend. Look at you, all articulate and stuff. And
how'd that happen?
But again, thanks everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please listen, please subscribe. We only take an hour out of your time, out of the week. That's all we ask for. 1 hour out of the week to devote to us, and we really, really appreciate it. And we enjoy doing this. We really do. So thanks a lot, guys, and till next time.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody.
It's been 48 years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has helped place thousands of people, just like you, in exciting careers in radio, television, and the new media. At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, our hands-on approach is different. It's designed to have you spend less time in the classroom and more time in the studios. From the first day, you'll work with state-of-the-art equipment. Learn by doing from our team of industry professionals who come from their studios to ours. The best part about it, you'll learn it all in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. So do what I did. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO. Step into the fast-paced world of the broadcast media. Day and evening classes begin soon. Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Get trained and get connected now. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com.